The Supreme Court judgment. So now we're joined by Faruk Adeja. He's an analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's interesting, with particular reference to the perspectives in Bayelsa and Kogi. Kogi more dramatic. INEC made that recommendation, but there are those who consider it now. It looks as though it's an order. And then the question arises, INEC, are they in a position, you think, to make that order? Because some say it's only a court that can say that. You can only give an opinion. Not an order.
Yes, I will actually think that what INEC gave is an informed opinion to save the situation. Because as it were, the moment after the Supreme Court judgment, the orders and counter orders that were coming from people who said they were interpreting the Supreme Court ruling and all that appear to have caused some mix-up in Kogi State. So what INEC, of course INEC is a body that is statutorily empowered to conduct election. As a matter of fact, they are the managers of our democracy. Okay? So in a situation where you don't have a clear direction, and those who are supposed to be neutral, appear to have been compromised. At least that is how some parties to the conflict saw them. Okay. Then, of course, INEC being an umpire, as it were. I mean, an informal opinion of INEC is good enough.
You're familiar with the happenings in Kogi State. I mean, what were people, how did they respond to all of the happenings there? I mean, you saw the acting speaker. Reports was that he didn't want to let go. He wanted to just hang on. And then Captain Wada, on the other hand, also came in and said no one should be sacked, and then the acting governor comes in and says everybody go. What was going on with all
So let me provide you with an information. As I speak to you now, I am aware that those statements credited to the acting speaker, sacking people and all that, had been denied by him. Really? Yes, I'm aware of that.
He denied it?
Yes, I'm aware of that. That he said he didn't issue those statements. Okay, and that is part of the problem we face in the media. That somebody can bring a statement to you and say, okay, this is the speaker's statement, and you pick it. And you begin to run it. With all due respect, Abdullahi Bello, the speaker of the Kogi State House of Assembly, has not gone on air anywhere to tell anybody or sacked anybody. Nobody. He never granted interview to anybody.
Isn't it worrisome that at the time that all of that came out, just before he was asked to leave and allow the governor-elect to take charge, he didn't deny? It was after the governor has taken his oath of office that we're getting to see the denial.
Well, what I know is this. On Sunday, the Speaker of the Kogi State House of Assembly left for Abuja to participate in a meeting where the seeming controversy was being resolved. Okay? Now, it was when he was at that meeting in Abuja that, I think on Monday morning, that statement was now aired on radio. Okay? Now, the speaker was incommunicado. We could not reach him. And I'm not aware that anybody reached him, actually. Okay? But as at the time he was reached, he told us that, look, I don't know, I'm not aware.
Did he address the press or put up a counter statement?
I suppose that that will be done today.
So. Okay, today.
I was not in Kogi last night because I had to travel down for this program.
Okay, but
I'm aware that there are meetings going on to resolve this matter.
Did he deny sacking, maybe removing the SSG and some of the other commissioners? Will he also come up today or something?
I suppose so, because of course the SSG and every other person is working in Kogi.
Is the speaker still the acting governor, or now we have a substantive governor in Kogi State?
There's a substantive governor in Kogi State.
Is there still a controversy in that state in that regard?
No, not at all.
There is no clash, so the speaker is back to being speaker.
Yeah.
And
if there's any controversy, and I'm going to appeal to all media houses, if you get any statement purporting to come from the speaker in Kogi State, please go cross-check. Try and reach the speaker, Mr. Speaker himself.
Well, you just said yourself that, when that statement came out,
yes, I said,
it was incommunicado.
Yes,
so what do we do when we get information?
As at Monday, it was incommunicado, but I am sure that by now, Mr. Speaker should be able to receive calls. Yes.
Well, I'm sure I don't know if you've heard this version, this story. Now you're saying, well, we should confirm, being someone from Kogi State, how the speaker, while he was acting governor, was asked to come over to Abuja, and they had a meeting with the leadership of the party and some of the executive members of the party, and they instructed him to go back and hand over to the governor-elect, which he hesitated for a while. And when he came back to Kogi, his security details were asked not to give him any security. That was when he knew that the game was up.
Well, what I know is, I tell you what I know.
But you've heard this version I just...
Yes, I've heard that, but I can tell you what I know. Yes, there was a meeting in Abuja to resolve the impasse. There was such a meeting. And nobody asked the speaker to hand over to the governor. Because the consensus of opinion at that meeting was that there's a governor. So the swearing in of the speaker was actually neither here nor there.
You're a member of the PDP in Kogi.
Yes.
Is the PDP divided in Kogi State?
Not that I am aware. Let me tell you. Okay? The crisis, or so-called crisis, was actually a contrived one. And I'm sorry, most people think that the Attorney General of the Federation is the culprit of this crisis.
What do you think?
But he's an illustrious son of
Yes, he's an illustrious son of Kogi, but he's not a member of PDP in Kogi.
Okay.
I am aware of that.
Really?
Yes, he's not a member of PDP in Kogi.
What is he a member
And PDP had been a very united party in Kogi.
Which party is he a member of?
I wouldn't know. I do not know him to have been a member of PDP in Kogi. He has never participated in that party, to the best of my knowledge, at any time. Not even during the presidential election.
So shouldn't that just make it seem that he will be a little more political in when it comes to matters concerning the state?
This is a matter between PDP members. So how can you be apolitical? If you are saying apolitical, it means that maybe PDP and some other people...
So in other words, you say those who are trying to bring his name into all of that, they're just trying to rubbish his good name. Is that what you mean?
The
Attorney General.
Rubbish his good name. How?
Yes.
Yeah, he said it was...
So the point I'm making is this, that the PDP is a united party in Kogi. Okay? And until he came with this, his interpretation of the Supreme Court ruling, and any lawyer you meet will tell you that it is not within the powers of the Attorney General to interpret judgment. That is the function of the judiciary.
Okay,
until he came, we never had any discord. This speaker we're talking about was the person who led our campaign.
It's wonderful that, Kogi State has chosen to read the Attorney General's statement like that, because when we asked another
He's
lawyer...
the chief law officer
exactly,
of the nation.
When we asked another lawyer, he says it's never happened that the Supreme Court verdict will oust 5 governors in 5 different states at once. Has it ever happened?
No.
How come? And he gave that directive to affect all the states where it happened.
Yes.
So how come Kogi State is seeming to read this like as if it is only their state that is affected in this particular instance?
Very, very simple. Because the situation and the circumstances of Kogi State is completely different.
So assuming...
from the 4 other states. And the Attorney General cannot be blind to that.
Let us assume now that he wasn't from Kogi State and he had handed down that directive. Would they still have read it like that?
Yes, we still have taken it like that. Because the circumstances of Kogi State is very different. There is a governor-elect, properly elected. The only reason he's not in office was because the tenure of the outgone governor, the former governor, was supposed to expire on April 3rd.
Well, people
so
have
why
also...
didn't we wait and allow the speaker act till April before we swear?
The tenure of an incoming begins automatically when the tenure of the outgoing expires. That is convention.
But it's not expiration. It's a termination like that. You have been you have been there illegally. That the expiration was last year. So if it was last year, people were actually saying that, well, whatever happened before this particular election, well, it's a nullity.
Like what and what? Because
the primaries and the elections before the ceremony.
Exactly. Now you're coming to the point. A lot of people sit down and make assumptions. Okay, that because the Supreme Court has said the tenure extension was illegal and whatever. So primaries and whatever that happened before then was illegal. The Supreme Court never said that. And if that was what the Attorney General had in mind before giving that blanket order to affect Kogi State, Then with all due respect to the Attorney General of the Federation, he was wrong.
The Supreme Court never said that, but did the Supreme Court say what is happening now?
Like what?
Did the Supreme Court say what situation has finally prevailed in Kogi State? Did the Supreme Court give an order to what has happened in Kogi State now?
The point we're making is that there's a governor-elect. So if the Supreme Court gives a ruling that the tenure of the governor that was there had expired,
the point,
then the governor-elect steps in. That is the convention.
The
Supreme Court doesn't have to tell you that. Because there's nowhere in the world that somebody has won an election. Then the person that is supposed to take the baton from passes the baton, then somebody else will go and collect the baton and hold and wait first. For you to go back and say, okay, let's go and sit down, let's go and ask the Attorney General whether we should give the baton to the incoming man. That's wrong.
The point my colleague was trying to make is that if the tenures of these governors expired by May 29 last year,
yes,
it will not be the president candidate who is now being made governor that will be there.
Okay, now.
Because they would have gone with a different set of primaries that produced a different candidate.
Yes, if it had.
In Kogi State, there's also a peculiar situation, as it were, which we have chosen to conveniently ignore.
I agree with you entirely. But you see, you have to look at the issue from the other aspect. Okay? January 27 was not May 29th. The Supreme Court never gave its judgment on January 27th. I mean, on May 29th, gave it on January 27th. And before then, a lot of water had passed under the bridge.
Ethnic sentiments?
No, I'm not talking of ethnic sentiments. You're talking about primaries. Let's go back to that primaries. Yes, there was a primaries in January that produced a candidate. Then the courts came with the ruling that no, the tenure of these governors is not expiring yet. It's going to expire April 3rd. The Federal High Court said so. The Court of Appeal agreed. Okay? So as at the time the second primary was held, the law that was in operation was the judgment passed by the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal. And that law was very legal at that point in time. Now these actions were taken based on the laws that were in operation at that time. And mark you, those primaries you're talking about, I don't know of other states. But in the case of Kogi State, the person who won that primaries, the first primaries, brought that primaries. I mean, he agreed that primaries was void.
Who was that? Echocho?
Yes, he did.
So why was he still challenging?
It is an afterthought. Let me tell you why. Okay? Echocho, when they announced that there were going to be fresh primaries, INEC brought out a new timetable and said there should be fresh primaries. PDP agreed and announced fresh primaries. Echocho went there, collected the 500,000 that was deposit given by PDP, collected his money back just like other aspirants did. Echocho bought expression of interest form to contest election. Now he bought nomination form from PDP. Okay. And contested the election. He went for screening. He contested the election and obtained votes.
All right, we
he only went to court after he lost.
What about if you say that the PDP is united in Kogi?
Yes.
Why then? Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The first person to have been sworn in was Captain Wada.
Yeah.
After he was sworn in, he said, "Everybody stay where you are, commissioners."
Yeah.
And then the acting speaker comes up, takes the oath of office, becomes the acting governor, announces. That's when all of those matters you say he debunked now began making the rounds. In the first instance, why did he accept to be sworn in if he knows that, well, the rightful person is Captain Wada?
Is that why I told you that we're united until somebody else decided to bring discord into us? Okay? My brother, let me tell you the truth. Nobody, if you hand over power to, if you give power to anybody, you will not reject it.
Unity or no unity?
Unity or no unity. Power. Nobody rejects power. That's the truth of the matter. Go and find out. All through history, sons, I mean, in the Bible, son of David waged war against his father to take over power.
No, but he didn't say they were still united. But you say the PDP is united in Kogi.
Yes, yes.
We see the report.
This discord came on Friday. This discord came on Friday. And by Sunday, our party at the Kogi level and at the national level had resolved the discord. Now there are fifth columnists. There are people who are bent on giving the impression that there's anarchy in Kogi or something is brewing in Kogi. So we suspect that those statements, credited to the speaker, was issued by those people.
You know, yeah, because it's very interesting that you agreed with me that, you know, May 29, that if the elections had actually taken place sometime in April, it would have produced a different candidate.
Yes.
That's why it's the person that is there now. It's not possible that that was what the Attorney General had in mind, that it will only be fair and proper to sort out that mess In the meantime, let the Speaker act while we decide whether or not, you know, the governor in waiting should be sworn in. Doesn't it look like he could have meant that, other than what else, you know, people are reading into the intentions he would have had when he issued that directive?
With all due respect to the Attorney General, if that was what he had in mind, then he should have approached it in a different way. My opinion is this: since somebody has been elected, constitutionally elected, according to the law, that person will as well be sworn in. And people can go and litigate. What is to stop people from going to litigate now that Wada is in office? What is to stop people from doing that? If governors were in office and people litigated and the Supreme Court said the governors should leave, what will stop courts from saying, no, Wada, okay, that election you won, no, you should have contested the election, no, whatever happened. What will stop the courts from doing that? So if that was the thinking of the Attorney General, then with all due respect, I think I do not agree with that thinking.
But the way you've gone about,
he ought to know.
The way the PDP has gone about sorting out this particular matter, almost forcefully taking over office from the Speaker who was acting governor, could it not have been done in a better manner?
Okay, let me tell you this. Number one, the so-called acting governor, Speaker, with all due respect, somebody had been sworn in as governor. Somebody had already been sworn in as governor, constitutionally sworn in as governor. Then about 3 hours later, the Honorable Speaker was sworn in by another person who also has constitutional power. But the truth of the matter is that since there's already a governor sitting, that action, I'm not a lawyer, but that later action, I mean, cannot be seen to be right.